Dark, sinister waves crash against the aged wood, white foam against beaten oak. Salt mist fills the air, wind rips through canvas sails. Heavy boots echo through the galley, the sound of gold coins jingling with every step. Gray clouds eclipse a crescent moon, sticky rum coats the floor. Beams creak and groan with the tides. The smell of gunpowder and leather fills the captain's quarters. Moonlight reflects off the steel blade of a sword. There's a dampness that never seems to vanish, a thirst for adventure and freedom that is never quenched, a hunger that is never satiated, and a light always being chased. Ahoy, mateys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dion, and today we are doing kind of our first real fantasy aesthetic, which is Piratecore. I've done, I guess you could count like cottagecore, mermaid. I guess mermaidcore is a fantasy aesthetic. I guess it's a lie. But you guys have asked me to do more fantasy aesthetic videos, and I think Piratecore is just like the perfect aesthetic to transition from summer to fall, because pirates, ocean, beach, etc. But the mood, the colors, the aesthetic is very like autumnal feeling. So I thought that would just be perfect to transition into fall. You guys know I've had these up for like 3 weeks now. Like, I'm so ready for fall, but I want to help transition you guys. So if you like niche aesthetics and you want to see more fantasy videos from me, definitely give this video a thumbs up, because I post videos every Thursday. And with that, let's get into it. First, the fit. I got some silver hoops in, little pirate scarf, corset. I'm wearing a long poofy skirt with this crochet shawl thing that I made, like a long peasant-y skirt. So yeah, I'm kind of more of a light washed pirate, but still doing the vibes. So what is Piratecore? According to Aesthetics Wiki, the Bible around here, Piratecore is an aesthetic based around the themes of pirates, a person who attacks and robs ships at sea. It usually involves boats, the sea, treasure, than actual crime. It draws inspiration from aesthetics such as adventurecore and crowcore, and may include things such as collecting shells, rocks, trinkets, bones, etc., studying maps and constellations, sea travel, and sketching. Some may even take pride in their weaponry, mainly consisting of swords and daggers. People valuing pirate aesthetics either have strong aspirations to travel the ocean or ties to beachside mountains and or homes. The colors of the aesthetic are a lot of browns, neutrals, beiges, deep blues and greens, and red, like a little bit like reds, like maroon, blood red. And it's all like quite dark and muted. Icons of the aesthetic are, of course, Elizabeth Swann, Tia Dalma, also from Pirates of the Caribbean. Basically, Pirates of the Caribbean in general is a huge inspiration for this aesthetic. Peter Pan pirates, also Treasure Island. Some creators that do piratey content are A Gemini Fairy, Brennan Pip, Hannah Red Fox Closet, A Clothes Horse, Honey Swords Cosplay, Lady Eppie, and okay, so I know in Irish spellings, like this would be like Kiva. So I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but like Megan, is it Siafre or is it like Siva? Siafre? I'm so sorry. I actually don't, because I don't know if you're like doing, I don't know your heritage, girl. So I don't know if you're doing like Irish pronunciation where it's like Kivre, or if it's something else. I'm sorry, but yeah, there it is. I'm so sorry. And I also feel like my friend Jess Lanchin, who I've done a collab with before, she gives sort of she can do some like piratey aesthetics. It's very much in like the fantasy Ren Fair realm. Like if you would like anything, yeah, it's in like that side of dressing up and aesthetics and all of that. Likes of Piratecore, of the Piratecore person, of a pirate, are collecting rocks, shells, and minerals, collecting small bones, skeletons, or fossils, practicing in the arts of fencing or using swords and daggers, collecting constellation charts and maps, stargazing, sailing, handwriting letters, sea travel or coastline travel, collecting coins or stamps, thrifting for trinkets and other items, like one man's trash is another man's treasure, sketching coastlines, horizons, and mountains, The staples of the Piratecore aesthetic are corsets, flowing maxi skirts and dresses, ruffles, peasant tops, lots of layers, lots of leather, pants tucked into boots, vests, stripes, if you want to be very stereotypical. Shoes are like heeled boots and knee-high boots in general. I feel like that is just like the mainstay of Piratecore, just like boots. Can't really see Piratecore in like loafers, right? Favorite accessories include pirate hats, pearls, netting, gold trinkets, vintage lockets and jewelry, compasses, skeleton keys, fingerless gloves, scarves, beads, chains, all that jazz. So there are some criticisms of Piratecore, and you know, I always like to do a little criticism section in all of my aesthetic videos. From Aesthetics Wiki, they say, quote, "The aesthetic does get slight criticism due to the bad reputation of pirates in history. Though the aesthetic itself does not value stealing and thieving, nor does it mean to present colonialism. The community around this aesthetic instead value freedom, fairness, curiosity, and balance. Loyalty is a large factor in Piratecore, and a moral code is usually presented. They are interested in the unknown and the mysteries of the ocean and believe in hard work and a strength of heart and mind." I remember, like, I loved Pirates of the Caribbean as a kid. Of course, it was amazing. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And I remember being like, I want to be a pirate when I grow up. And my mom was like, they rape and pillage villages. Like, my parents were so straight up about, like, shutting things down. Like, they did not mince words. I remember one time, my friend and I were doing horoscopes, and she's a Virgo, and I was like, "Dad, what's a Virgo?" And he was like, "A virgin." And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And she's like, "A person that doesn't have sex." And I was like, "Okay, I just meant, like, astrological attributes, not, like, all of that. Thanks, I'm 9. Like, whatever." But yeah, my mom was like, pirates were actually really, really horrible people that did a lot of damage. And what's funny is that my family used to host foreign exchange students, and one of them was a sea captain, and she used to have to travel through Somalia and literally fight off like Somali pirates. So piracy is like still a thing that's going on, and it's like no joke, it's scary. And like she would like fight them off with like fire hoses and stuff, and it was like, she was amazing. And pillaging of villages and merchant ships isn't cool, obviously. So I would understand why people would be like, why are we aestheticizing this kind of awful thing? My personal criticism of this aesthetic, like many aesthetics in the fantasy world, is that it's very segregated, it's very white. This aesthetic is incredibly friendly to the LGBTQ community. It's especially bisexuals, which bisexuals never get like any credit from the queer community, I feel like, and it's really nice. Like the Piratecore aesthetic, pirate aesthetics in general, like that is a safe haven for bisexuality, like bi pirate energy, all of that. It's great. That being said, it was like really hard to find any pirate black creators or like fantasy black creators. I had to sort of like dig more to find that. I think part of it could be that the inspiration that we're looking to, those pirates are from like British colonial times, and so I could see why people of color would be like, I'm not dressing up like the biggest oppressors in the entire world. Another reason why it feels very like whitewashed could be like fantasy aesthetics and like Ren Fair aesthetics have a reputation of not being very welcoming to POC, being like, oh, there wouldn't be any black people in Hobbit World. Guess what? Like, Hobbit World doesn't exist, bitch. Like, what are you saying? Oh, there's not gonna be any black people in Star Wars. Shut the fuck up. Again, with like Ren Fairs, Piratecore does romanticize like British history, and Britain has basically negatively impacted essentially the entire world. I said this in my Mermaid Core video, but since the ocean covers the entire world, scientifically, there would be mermaids of different cultures, in different areas. We talked about this. A Caribbean mermaid isn't going to look the same as a Danish mermaid, and it's not going to look the same as like a South Pole mermaid. But there's probably mermaids all over there. If there's mermaid in one area, there's going to be mermaids all over, right? There's different fish in different regions, different types of trout in different regions or whatever. If we're talking about this like fantasy aesthetification of pirates, again, different regions are going to have different looking pirates. And we saw this a little bit with Tia Dalma in Pirates of the Caribbean, which like may or may not be playing on some like harmful Caribbean stereotypes. Not gonna lie. I interrupt this message to recommend this essay written by Camila Martin Samuel. It is really cool. And did you know that you can get scholarly sources from JSTOR through your local library. Libraries are lit. Okay. Regardless, pirates aren't going to look only one way because pirates inhabit all kinds of the ocean. So it'd be cool in this aesthetic, and again, I said this in Mermaidcore, to see like Piratecore as done by different cultures. So like Piratecore in like Japanese, like what Japanese Piratecore would be. So taking the influences from typical Japanese clothing and adding them to different pirate vibes, like marrying that together. Same with like Caribbean, same with like South African, like taking the essentials of Piratecore, but inputting your own cultural influences of like what your coastline pirates would look like compared to different others. Does that make sense? Now it's all sort of based in an amorphous British European side of it. My hands are so dirty because I was just gardening. With adventure horror, with Piratecore, with these like fantasy aesthetics, it is fantasy, so it'd be cool to it shouldn't just look one way. It's just what I'm trying to say. So it'd be cool to implement Piratecore with different cultures and like expressing it in that way. Anyway, if you want to get the look for Piratecore, it is all about layering. So you want to start with like either pants or skirt. Pants are going to be like black or brown. Skirt is like white, beige, black, brown. Obviously, none of this is hard and fast, but just like as a basic, I always like to do like a basic skeleton of the thing and then adding whatever we need to the aesthetic. Your top is like going to be like a peasant top or a lace-up top, like a flowy button-down maybe. For a more contemporary look, you could do one of those like 2016 lace-up tops that were so popular. For a subtle pirate look, you want to do some like key noticeable features like lace-up details, a pirate scarf around the head or waist, knee-high boots, stripes if you want to be very, very stereotypical, and just those like small quintessential piratey details. For a more like TikTok fantasy aesthetic look, if you're going to a Ren fair or something, adding a vest or a leather jacket, some vintage looking gold jewelry like a compass, a watch, locket, rings. For hair and makeup, messy is definitely the way to go. So you want to look like your hair is salty, like you've been at sea for months. Smudgy eyeliner, bronzy makeup because you've been out in the sun, that sort of like leathery skin vibe. Probably like a nude or natural lip, or maybe like a brownish lip for a more sultry look. For your hair, you could do like beachy waves, adding some like beads or little braids throughout. Doing some of those like Mermaidcore accessories that we talked in that video would also like be cool in this aesthetic. The more you lean into the part of the fantasy aesthetic, the more layers and details you're gonna have. So you could be very, very bare bones, college girl on Halloween, last minute costume, or you could like keep adding more and more details to like drive home the fantasy look. Really like up to you how piratey you want to look. But again, like there's sort of like dog whistles of piracy, of Piratecore. Like just having, I feel like no matter what you're wearing, if you have a headscarf wrapped like this, it immediately gives pirate. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain little things that will immediately give pirate. And the more into it, the more accessories you can add and collect. With this aesthetic, pirates are literally it's all like vintagey, worn leather, stolen treasures. So pirates would never buy anything new. Really, right? Pirates would never buy anything brand new. Pirates are only doing trading, secondhand, bartering, stealing, whatever, finding. So, for this aesthetic, you also shouldn't buy anything new. You also shouldn't steal. I'm not saying you should steal, but I got this corset. This is the third video in a row that I've worn this corset. I got this from a thrift store. If you just look up like black corset belt on Depop, Poshmark, whatever, I'm sure you can be able to find it. You could layer like a flowy button down under this. I had this that kind of gave pirate vibes to me. I don't know. Obviously, scarves and bandanas are very easy to find. Knee-high boots, very easy to find at thrift stores. I feel like that's what I see the most at thrift stores in terms of boots. It's like knee-high boots. I'm sure you also probably have them eventually. And then collecting like trinkets. I feel like it's a lot of gold. I'm a silver girly, but whatever. It's a lot of gold and it's quite gaudy. So even getting like costume jewelry or going to estate sales and those like big 80s jewelry with like that's gold and chunky and colorful stones. I feel like that's very Piratecore, is big, chunky, gaudy jewelry. And that is like always apparent secondhand. It's always easy to find like really like yellowy gold jewelry. I also feel like, again, it's just about like layering. So the more things that you have on, I mean, I crocheted this thing, which kind of gives a piratey bustle vibe, and that was from secondhand yarn as well. So you could do that, like make your own little accessories, finding leather things. Also, Ren fairs usually sell these sort of things. They're kind of pricier at Ren fairs, but it's still very, very fun. It's almost Ren fair season. I friggin' love going to the Ren fair. I might do a pirate look this year. I don't know yet. But yeah, with that, I hope you liked this video. What do you guys think of Piratecore? I think it's really cute and fun. And what other fantasy aesthetics do you want me to do, or what fall autumnal aesthetics in general do you want me to do? Obviously, always taking suggestions. Definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you did like this video, because it does help out my channel. Subscribe because I post videos every Thursday. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram because I post content there so often. I used to say every single day, but I'm kind of in a slump right now. And with that, have a happy day. Bye.